What's going on, guys? My name is Omega and welcome back to another Apex Legends video. So in today's video we have a couple things to go over, including the brand new Valk Nerf that actually just went live in Apex today. We have some kind of update for the Chinatown skins that got delayed a couple weeks ago, and also a conversation between developers on the hacker situation in Apex and Titanfall and how Respawn might attempt to hire some of these hackers in the future. Definitely some interesting stuff. If you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Before we start, I just want to give a big thanks to Buff for sponsoring today's video. Buff is a free application built on the Overwolf platform that you run in the background while you game, and it rewards you with buff points after every game you play. These buff points can be exchanged in their marketplace for gift cards, Steam codes, Apex coins, and even products from Razer and Logitech. They even have daily and weekly challenges that you can complete in game that will reward you with even more points. And these challenges are super easy to complete. Even if you sometimes suck at games like me, you should have no problem completing these. And you also shouldn't have to worry about buff slowing down your PC. I actually tested this out on multiple games and I did not notice any difference in my FPS or game performance while it's running. And like I mentioned before, Buff is a trusted application built on the Overwolf platform. With over 1 million total downloads, it is 100% safe for you to use. One thing I do want to add is that since Arenas is a brand new game mode in Apex, you'll currently only be rewarded for playing Battle Royale, whether that's in public games or ranked. Now, if you are interested in earning rewards for playing your favorite games, which is something that we all do already, you can find a link to download Buff for free in the description. Now, to start off, we have a couple of updates from Respawn going over some big things in Apex. So they made a tweet a couple days ago saying that they've temporarily disabled lever penalties in arenas due to the system sometimes issuing inappropriate punishments. So basically what happened with this is that people were getting punished for leaving arena games after the game was already over. Whether they won or they lost, when they were on that screen where it was showing the last 3 legends, if you left the game, you would still get punished, which is obviously not what is supposed to happen. So this has been temporarily disabled until they can solve the issue. Keep in mind, this could come back at any point in time, so I would still try not to leave any arena games that you do play, just in case this does come back and you're not fully aware of it. Now, there's also another update for Apex today that Respawn talked about on their Twitter. This update covered a few minor things, including some fixes for the Switch. They fixed an issue with Switch users being kicked from the game due to system clock manipulation. One of the bigger updates here, though, is a nerf to Valkyrie. So they said hovering while using Valk's tactical now consumes the same amount of fuel compared to hovering while not using her tactical. This is a balance change meant to address Valkyrie players staying out of the fight for extended periods of time in late game circles. So basically what people were doing, and by the way, this wasn't like a glitch, this was something that was like shipped in the game, but what happens is that if you were playing Valk before this patch and you used your tactical and just held down the button while you're floating in the air, you'd be able to hover for a very long time. People were kind of abusing this in ranked play, especially when you get to like that very end of the game where the circle is super small. They would just sit and hover in the air and let everyone else die underneath them because it was very hard to shoot someone when they were literally directly above you. And as you guys can see in this clip, this is basically what it looked like before. Now with the new update, you're going to have the same amount of airtime as you would be if you weren't holding down the tactical button. So let me know what you guys think about that change. I don't think it's like a huge nerf to Valkyrie. Now, next up, I want to talk to you guys about the hacker problem once again in Apex and Titanfall. According to developers, this problem is taking up a huge amount of resources. For those of you guys that don't know, Apex and the Titanfall games have been experiencing a ton of DDoS issues in the past. I believe Titanfall probably has a bigger issue just because there's not as many people playing this game right now. But according to developers, this is a very tough problem. Ryan Reading was talking about on his Twitter saying, "I wish all the hackers and cheaters who ruin games could find more fulfilling hobbies. Why use your talent to tear communities apart? The situation affecting the Titanfall games right now is so frustrating. Weeks of work required to address each new stupid thing." He even said, "A few times I've gotten in direct contact with individuals behind these attacks. When I ask why they do it, they never have a good answer. So I go, could you maybe just knock it off? And some of them shockingly have agreed to, but most don't care. Pure agents of entropy." Now, obviously, it's normal for developers to be upset at hackers when they're messing up their games, especially when you're targeting an older game that is taking resources away from having new updates for Apex. Well, this tweet got a response from Chad Grenier, who is the game director for Apex Legends at Respawn. He's a very high up developer, and in his tweet, he said if these hackers slash DDoSers were smart, they would contact me to come work for us to defend against these things and make a ton of money. So when I read that, my first first thought is like Chad Grenier's getting some sort of like Apex Suicide Squad together, where you basically form a team of every single hacker that has messed with either Apex or Titanfall, offer them a bunch of money, and then hopefully after that, they have the wisdom and the knowledge to know what's wrong with the code in Apex and how to prevent these attacks from happening in the future. And obviously they're not just talking about like someone who downloaded a program and figured out how to DDoS. Like, these are the people who are like evil geniuses when it comes to hacking and kicking people offline. They know exactly where to look and exactly how to take down these servers. So if you have someone like that working for Respawn, it gives them a huge advantage for defending against these attacks. Now, Ryan Rigney responded to his tweet again, saying that if they're smart, they probably would know that they need to first demonstrate some goodwill towards our players instead of just expecting to be offered a job right away based on talk alone. And I definitely agree with Ryan in this tweet, because it really needs to be a case-by-case situation. You can't just offer every single hacker a job in the hopes that they'll help defend your game against future attacks. This needs to be someone who is really who has really changed their ways and actually wants to do some good for the community. So I could totally see this in some way happening in the future. I definitely don't see it as a bad idea. If they're smart about it, if they pick the right person, you could easily find someone who can really do some good for Apex rather than causing it so much harm. Now, I have a couple more things to talk about in today's video. The first one being a tweet from Apex Legends News regarding the Chinatown Market event. So the clothing brand that was called Chinatown Market has given an update on their name change, saying it is now going through the legal process. The skins in Apex are expected to be released when the new name is finalized and the designs are updated. Now, I actually went to the Chinatown Market Twitter. I didn't see any recent tweets or any updates on their name change. I know they talked about a couple months ago how they were going through this process and they were going to change their name due to the backlash from the Apex community and I guess just, their own community as well. And if you guys don't know what happened with that, I have a whole video talking about the Chinatown Market event and why it was delayed in the first place. So the link to that is on the video if you guys do want to go check that out. We also have some more developer comments on the matchmaking in Arenas. So this coming from a post on Reddit where one guy said extreme number of low-level players in Arenas, also saying that he's well over level 500 with just under 3,000 hours in the game, but he just played 10 matches of Arenas where not one of his teammates was above level 150 and that the majority were below level 50. So obviously this has been happening to a lot of different people. Many people were wondering if this is like supposed to be the case. We do have a comment here from Rickle Saucer, who's apparently the lead software engineer over at Respawn. He said, "No, this is not supposed to be happening. I'm currently working on it. Overall, the fairness of a game is pretty even, but we understand it is a bit tiring when level disparity is high in your team composition. It will improve." We also have an interesting tweet here from Jason McCord responding to a fan asking if it was possible that we'll ever see a kill cam in Apex Legends. Jason McCord asked, in what case would you find a kill cam useful? In which this player responded, I was thinking more of a winning kill cam. Just a kill cam for the final kill once the game ends. It isn't essential, just curious if it was ever thought about. Jason McCord did respond to this saying it's been talked about for the final kill. It's just one of those things that costs memory on the server, so we need to make sure it's worth it. I think it's rare enough that you win plus need a kill cam to know what happened that it hasn't been a priority. So I don't really see kill cams ever coming to the game. I know other battle royales do have kill cams, but it's not really anything that would be like super useful. I think one cool thing that they could do is maybe if your squad wins the game, you get like a little clip of whoever in your squad had the best play. I think something like that would be a little bit more unique, and I think it would be a lot better than just having the final kill cam, which is something that everyone literally just experienced right as the game ends. And to end this video, we have another tweet from Ryan Rigney, who said the next month for Apex is going to be a bit of a dry spell content release wise, but when 9.1 drops at the end of June, it's going to be some good stuff to chew on. So it looks like we're not going to be getting a ton of content for the next month. 9.1 is expected to be around the end of June. However, I do know that many Dynamiters have been talking about some kind of collection event that we're supposed to be getting in the next couple of weeks. I don't know for sure what heirloom we're supposed to be getting. I just want to let you guys know that despite the fact that there are multiple heirlooms currently in the game files, I know I've seen one for Revenant, I saw one for Crypto, but the problem with this is that these are very subject to change. We actually had an incident a couple seasons ago where everyone in the Datamine community and everyone who was researching this stuff figured that Bangalore's heirloom was going to be the next one to come out. We thought it was going to be her Tonfas because that's basically all that was in the game files at that time. At the last second, it turned out that Bangalore was not getting an heirloom that season, Gibraltar ended up getting his heirloom, and then the next season Bangalore got a completely different one for her heirloom. So just wanted to let you guys know, just so you keep that in mind. Just because you see gameplay footage or any kind of leaks or data mined showing an heirloom, it doesn't mean that's going to come out for the next collection event. So we'll probably just have to wait and see until we get some official updates about this information. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.